going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now,
Jimothy.
So ladies and gents, I thought I would showcase to you the Cyberse Codetalker deck that I took to my most recent adventure at locals. So without wasting any more time, ladies and gents, let's just get straight into it. Now, starting us off, we should have had triple lady debug, but I've literally I've put it somewhere. I've literally just laying out my cards for the deck profile and I don't know where it's gone, but this should be a 3 of, ladies and gents. So triple lady debug searches you your microcoder or your Nightmare Corruptor Ibli, depending on which one you got in your hand. So definitely a 3 of in this deck. Next up, the main reason why I played this deck, triple Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. Now what Ibli allows you to do is basically just lock your opponent out the game. So triple Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. She also has a normal summon effect, which I started to use quite a lot more. I was always searching her as a follow-up basically, because she can revive one of your link monsters and negate their effects, and that just allows you to link up into some easy access Codetalker OTKs, or link up easily into like a trans Codetalker, for example. So definitely a very powerful card, as well as locking your opponent out of summoning. So triple Ibli. Also, we ran the triple microcoder. Very simple. All of these coder cards have the ability to link from hand, and he searches you your sign at spell or trap, most notably your sign at codex, to be honest. So triple microcoder. I also ran double code generator as well as 1 code radiator. There is another code one that's coming out. I can't remember what its name is, but that allows you to have some recursion basically. But generator just dumps one, and code radiator allows you to just reduce your opponent's attack to 0. So they all allow you to link you from hand, which is the main reason why you play those cards, ladies and gents. Now for the searchable 1-ofs, we played double parallel exceed. You only need 2. You can search the first one and then get the second one out of the deck. Very simple. And like I said, if you've never seen a Codetalker profile before, ladies and gents, you'll know that they're just full of searchable 1-ofs, mainly because of your Signet Codex. So we've got 1 backup secretary, 1 forward skipper. This can search into your Gachiri at Ignista or your parallel exceed, depending on which one you've got in hand. If you haven't got none, depending on where you are with your combo, you can literally just search it. Mathmech Sigma can get your play started without a normal summon, so I'm actually considering bumping this guy up to 2 for that reason. Continuing on, we've got the Gachiri at Ignista. This allows for some crazy OTKs, especially with the chain blocking potential with Access Codetalker. 1 Sea Archiver, 1 Cyberse Gadget is good for a nice little follow-up. We're also running the 1 Cyberse Converter, 1 Link Infraflyer, 1 Dotscaper, as well as the 1 Scripton. Like I said, ladies and gents, all searchable, more or less free special summons, just to keep your plays going and continue your link climbing to be able to finish on your end board. Next, into the spells, we have triple Signet Mining. Nothing needs to be said about this, just a rotor for the deck. Any sign at level 4 or lower Cyberse. We have the thing that allows the deck to just keep ticking, and it does offer some crazy chain blocking potential. So triple Signet Codec. This card is crazy. It can +6 you in a turn, especially if you go through your combo correctly. You can get a load of advantage by just being able to search out monster after monster after monster. So definitely a 3 of, in my opinion. You want to kind of open that, and as well as microcoder. You also have the 1 Signet Optimization. This basically allows you for another additional normal summon, as well as Armades in the battle phase. So definitely a useful card. Next up, for the rest of the spells, we played double triple tactic talents. Again, especially with a heavy combo deck like this, you can punish your opponent going first, and it does better going second, to be honest. And that's what I found especially in this deck, where you're playing into established boards, you're gonna run into some kind of monster interaction. So having talents just to be able to just take or even just draw, definitely a powerful card. I do have the 3rd in the side. Also played 1 Upstart Goblin, 1 Cord by the Grave, as well as 1 Salaman Great Sanctuary. This is just for your Ibli lock, so they can't crash the Ibli into one of your monsters. Cord by the Grave, Upstart Goblin, say no more. Trying to increase the consistency of the deck. We also ran 1 Monster Reborn, 1 for 1, and 1 Cosmic Cyclone. I do run the other 2 Cosmic Cyclones in the side deck, But I thought to myself, just in case you run into any kind of Mystic Mine grind match, you definitely want to have at least one out to Mystic Mine potentially, and you only realistically need one card to be able to resolve for you to win the game, because you get so many bodies on board. So I thought just to play the one Cosmic Cyclone just in case. Next up for the traps, we played one counter trap in Silent Conflict. Again, this is searchable through microcoder. If you do see your microcoder and your silent codec in hand, this is the thing that you're going to be searching, just to kind of shore up your first turn board. If you're going for the OTK, then you don't search this, you search probably silent optimization, but nevertheless a powerful searchable counter trap that you can't argue with that. Next, we ran triple infinite impermanence. This actually saved me one of the games. I had two in hand at once, which was crazy. So I impermed the one of the plays, and also impermed the Predaplant Verte Anaconda, which meant I just been able to just go for the OTK following that. So triple infinite impermanence. If I had droplets, this definitely would be droplets. I feel like hand traps in this deck aren't as impactful as like board breaking cards, especially going second. Imperm is good nevertheless, but I feel like droplets is just way better, especially with this deck that only realistically needs two cards to just pop off basically. So triple imperm. If I had droplets, it would be droplets. Next, we're on to the extra deck. We've got one Lingaribo, one Talkback Lancer for your combo, and double Salamangreat out Baylink, sorry. I was about to say Almirage then. But yeah, Baylix is just basically search for the field spell. You go into your second Baylix just to protect your field spell basically, and potentially protect your Baylix just to keep your U-Lock on board if you do manage to U-Lock. I like to play quite reservedly, to be honest, and I normally just hold the second Baylix. If I feel like I kind of need to protect it in order to just go for the OTK next turn, then I go into the second one, but you kind of get a feel for things as you're playing against your opponent. So double Baylix. Next up, probably the most important Codetalker in the deck, your Codetalker. Funnily enough, this is the one that kind of like starts your plays off, to be honest, because you only need two Cybers monsters to go into him, and typically you're going to be using your microcoder to go into him. So definitely a play starter, probably one of the most important ones that you want to resolve, which is crazy. So you do want to kind of chain block this. Next, we have Codetalker inverted as well as Splash Mage. Nothing needs to be said about those. Next up, for some more, for the last link 2 that I run is Update Jammer. Again, you don't necessarily have to go into access code using Update Jammer. You can use chance code, to be honest, and I found myself doing that a couple of times, but Update Jammer definitely a good inclusion. It's very easy to go into most of the cards in this deck, to be honest. We run double Transcode Talker because it's such a powerful card. I try and use one on my first turn and use the second one on my second turn to OTK, or just set up a board that allows me to just basically just hold the fort until my next following turn, which most of the time you don't need to, but it's always good to have the second one just because it's such a powerful card. Next, we run one X Codetalker, one Shooting Codetalker for the other link 3s. Again, very powerful cards. It's just good to search out. Shooting Codetalker probably comes up a lot more than X Codetalker. X Codetalker is just a bit like a combo piece, but Shooting Code actually has a bit of application. It can draw you a couple of cards, to be honest, through its battle phase effect. So definitely a useful card, especially if you go in second. This is normally the last attribute I tend to search off the Silent Codec as well. So sometimes I just kind of leave that out. You don't always necessarily need to go through all of the attributes. So Shooting Codetalker, definitely a decent go in second option, especially after you've accessed Codetalker most of the board. Then we play the Firewall Dragon, the Mechanite Crusader Avramax, and your all-powerful access Codetalker, ladies and gents. And that is it for the extra deck. I won't go into the side because obviously preference towards your locals. But what I will say, ladies and gents, is the deck is interesting. There is a few more things it needs. It's got a very, very defined win condition. Access Codetalker going second, and Nightmare Corruptor Ibli going first. However, it's a little bit fragile in the sense that you can't pivot into other means of disruption. So I was looking at actually including, and I'll show you here, the Trigate Wizard, just for another layer of disruption. You can actually get him out pretty easily, and as long as he's co-linked, which is something that you can do real easy, you can actually have a form of Omni Negate as well as a few other effects that it provides. But the Omni Negate is probably the most powerful effect, and it just adds another layer to your board, because if you don't see the counter trap, ladies and gents, you're kind of just relying on either the Fireball Dragon to bounce a monster and your opponent having no way to play around the Ibli, or you're just playing into forbidden droplets, which is something that you'll see a lot more with more competitive players. At locals, it's very, very easy to win and steal games using the Ibli lock, but when you go into higher tier events and you're going to be running into like droplets quite a lot, or your opponent's going to find some way of removing the Ibli off the board more times than not, which I didn't think was a thing, to be honest. But with the introduction of droplets and just the way some of the cards are using the extra deck at the moment, it's pretty easy to get around. So definitely something to take into consideration, but nonetheless a very fun deck, quite a powerful deck. It does require some brain power. I was misplaying like crazy to start off with, but once I played a few games with the deck, I got into the swing of things. I kind of understood what I needed to be doing, and I was kind of prioritizing Ibli when I shouldn't have been. I should be prioritizing Microcoder, because that's the one that sets up your play. So definitely something for me to think about. But like I said, ladies and gents, I'm back to square one in terms of what deck I'm going to be using going forward. So I am cooking up something, and I'm hoping to attend locals tomorrow basically, and see if the deck that I've been cooking up is any good in the current meta. So we'll see about that, ladies and gents. So keep it peeled to the channel for that. But anyway, we find ourselves at the end of another video. As always, if you do enjoy this content, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all of that beautiful good stuff, and I would definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you've enjoyed. Peace.